Right. Sweet. We got 25 minutes.
Sweet.
That's 25. There's 3 movies tonight, and I have a 2-hour battery. I need to get a new battery. But I did get a new memory card though, so we've got 400 minutes.
All right, let's figure this out. We can do this. 400 minutes and 25 minutes. I'm sure there's a temporal lobe somewhere we can hit.
Between the two of us, we could get like 400 minutes worth of jokes out.
Right? No kidding. Oh shit.
There was nothing controversial celebrity-wise that happened in the news this week, right? So
Take a damn pick, actually. Stephen Collins, I'm looking at you.
What? I didn't hear about
You
that.
goddamn pederast, you.
Now I
You were a pastor. I can't believe it. I can't believe you molested little kids. You were part of the church.
Oh, now I can't watch Star Trek: The Motion Picture the same way again. So we figured we'd get that out of the way early.
Well, he got that his love and interest in that is very
Motion
sexual.
picture?
Yeah, so very sexually fertile, and
It's been
seems kind of young.
It's been a very long time since I've seen Star Trek: The Motion
The bald chick,
Oh, the chick from Warrior of the Lost World.
right. The one who becomes the entity for.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, did he have a romance with V'ger in the movie?
Well, kind of.
So, yeah, we just got out of the judge. It's from the trailer. It's an actor's movie. There's not an original bone in this movie's body necessarily. It is. You've seen a lot of movies like this. There's whether it's the guy from the big cities coming back to the small town and he's on the outs with his family, and hell, there's a Jason Bateman movie in theaters right now with that plot line. It's that mixed in with a courtroom drama.
I think John Grisham.
Yeah, it's like part John Grisham courtroom drama and part
Estranged son.
Yeah.
Prodigal son returning home.
Yeah.
Type situation.
It kind of feels like you're sort of watching a season's worth of a like hour-long CBS drama condensed into about 2.5 hours.
Sounds about right.
But it's a movie that's starring Robert Downey Jr., a man who can carry any movie, who is probably one of the most charismatic actors who ever lived.
Right.
So he can carry a movie like this, and he does carry a movie like this.
Oh, yeah.
He's like he always is. He's great to watch. You throw him as this like hot shot big city Chicago lawyer. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. can play a part like that in his sleep.
Right.
And he does great. It's very much an actor's movie. I can see why a really good actor would want to do this. There's a lot of dramatic scenes in it. There's a lot of scenes where people shed tears, a lot of yelling, a lot of really dramatic stuff. I can see
a lot of losing bowel movement.
You get to see Robert Duvall shit his pants and get showered off by Robert Downey Jr. while Downey Jr.'s daughter is on the other end saying knock-knock jokes to him. You know, there is some weirdness in this movie. I'm not sure if this movie needed the incest subplot.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Spoiler, Robert Downey Jr. pretty much makes out with his niece. Not pretty much.
He does.
Makes out with his niece.
Who at the time he doesn't know her.
No.
Then later on,
He thinks she's
He
his
thinks his daughter.
for like a majority of this movie.
Yeah.
It gets a little weird. Like that would honestly be fine in like if this were a much quirkier movie. If this were like
if this wasn't a movie trying to play itself straight.
Oh yeah, if this wasn't taking place in Carlinville, Indiana, but like Twin Peaks, or like we got Vera Farmiga in there. If this was like taking place in the universe of Bates Motel. Okay, the incest would make perfectly good sense.
It's like, oh, yeah, we expect that.
So there's some weirdness there with that. Every once really that could have been cut. This is a 2.5-hour movie. It really is too long. I want, like, at the same time, like, that could have been cut, but Downey is so good in those scenes. His comedic timing is great. He's great
right.
with Vera Farmiga. I like Vera Farmiga a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, technically, all of this stuff could be cut, but the actors are really good in these scenes.
Well, and then the scene when he finds out that it's because Vera Farmiga is the mom of his niece.
Yeah.
Who he also was his high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he makes out with the niece, then without realizing that was their daughter, and then finds out that it is as she picks him up to drive down the road, and she does this. The daughter's being all coy with him, and he's trying to just be not awkward about it, and it's funny.
It's a really good piece of like silent acting from Downey because it's all in his facial expressions and the physicality of his ticks, his movements. He's great in these scenes. He is. Really, all the acting is all around solid. It was, I think that a problem I have with this movie is that Robert Duvall, who's the dad, and very good in the movie, he's Robert Duvall, so of course, he's a fucker. Like, the dad is a prick. Like, this is so beyond, like, oh, you know, father and son, they're kind of on the outs for reasons, you know, but whatever. His dad's a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like a real son of a bitch in the first part of it. Throughout a lot of it, honestly. He's just a fucker. Like, this guy's a prick. Fuck it. Jesus Christ, I wouldn't give a shit if I were Robert Downey Jr. I don't fucking blame him. This guy's a monster. Fucking Christ. So a little too much so. I'm sitting there in the audience like, yeah, fuck this guy. I'm on Robert Downey Jr.'s side. Fuck this guy. I'd hightail the fuck out of there too. Dad might be a murderer. Huh, them's the breaks. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a little ham-fisted with that. But I think it makes the reveal more conflicted.
It makes it, when it gets into the reveal, but the way that it goes into this reveal, in which Downey had, like, gotten in a car accident with his brother and injured his brother's hand, so his brother couldn't play sports anymore, baseball. There's hints of that early on, but when it actually shows it, the younger brother, who seems like he's autistic, he has a fascination with filming everything, with just like this 8mm camera, and so he puts this home movie reel together and shows it to him. And it's kind of this pretty good moment, until, for some reason, he decides, you know what should go in this reel that I'm showing to my family, this montage of like them playing baseball, like Christmas, you know what should go in here? Film footage of the car accident in which my brother was injured. The other brother goes to juvenile hall. Never mind why this is being filmed to begin with. Let's go ahead and just splice that in there. Sure, why not? What's that? This is really awkward? Oh, go fucking figure.
Okay, but if it was somebody who wasn't on the spectrum, which clearly the youngest brother is.
But like, I don't know about to that extent. Like,
it's his way of the camera. It is his way of being the buffer to the real world. This is how he can cope with the real world, is through the lens of this camera. So he films everything.
Yeah, he does. They didn't make his issue big enough to where he wouldn't know that that's probably wrong to put that footage in with this other footage.
I think he probably... I don't know that he thought it was necessarily wrong, but I think he was trying to find emotional moments. It wasn't so much that he knew that was good or
Oh man, we
bad.
got 10 minutes left.
But the fact that it was a strong emotional point
Yeah.
and a divergence point in that family. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why he included, not because he wasn't trying to stir up anything. I think that was just his...
Could have given him a warning.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Or what do they say?
Car accident halfway through here.
What do they say now? The language? Or-
Yeah.
language warning or trigger language. That's what it. Trigger language. Trigger video.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Whatever that shit is.
I never have to put those in front of my videos. Everyone just expects something horrible is
No
going to happen
kidding.
to it.
Oh shit.
But, oh, by the way, all this was going on like during a tornado too. Like, there's no reason really. There's just a tornado that's happening.
No, because it's awesome to watch Robert Duvall walk out and get just smack the shit out of wind, and then down he falls him. It's that's the only reason.
I was like, what is this? How this is gonna end? Like, is
He
it,
gets carried off
like
in
gets
the
carried
tornado.
off in the tornado, destroys the town.
Holy
Well, I
shit,
guess we
it's
can't
Clark
try
Kent
you
all
now.
over again. Or Jonathan Kent, Pa Kent.
But I mean,
They're
it's,
filming Man of Steel 2. Retrospective.
oh, don't mention that. You get people arguing in the comments again.
Oh yeah.
That happened last week. We mentioned that movie very briefly. And argument in the comment section.
Good God. Okay, fine, you liked it. End of fucking story.
Hey, this movie was really good because stuff happened in
Guess
it.
what?
You're not allowed to dislike this movie because other movies are good.
You don't have to have the same opinion as us. You're grown people. You can form shit. You got a brain. You like it, good for you. Go fuck off. Don't jerk off to it. I don't give a fuck. Let us talk about what we want to talk about. If you disagree, fine. Who gives a fucking shit? Jesus.
They weren't really yelling at us. They're just yelling at each other in the comment section for Gone Girl.
Yeah, talk about that. That was probably a good fucking movie. Why are you talking
Great
about
fucking
Man of
movie.
Steel?
Great fucking movie. Well,
Even if Man of Steel's an alright movie, it's still not good compared to fucking Gone Girl from what
Gone
I've
Girl,
heard.
way better.
So just...
I guarantee you, Batman v Superman will not have Affleck's penis like Gone Girl did. Oh yeah, he does the full Monty in Gone Girl.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
I was. You don't say.
Well, I'm gonna make that my next date movie.
The weirdest thing was, it looks exactly like Matt Damon. I thought I was. We didn't mention that in the video last week because I thought I was, when it shows his cock in that movie, I thought I was crazy when it happened. I was like, I'm sorry, is it just me or did he just show his cock in this scene? And then no one.
Was it like the Fight Club Flash where it just spliced in? It's
Oh
like,
no,
wait a
no,
minute,
like that.
hold on.
It's him like going in the shower, and I'm like, I swear to God, I just saw his dick. The audience really didn't react, and like Sarah and Dave didn't really say anything about the video, so I'm like, maybe I was crazy. Maybe I just.
So it was more Kevin Bacon Wild Things.
Well, that was more lingering when it was Kevin Bacon. This was
so
more.
it's a quick-
This was
okay.
more like a little more up close than like Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can figure out this.
I could see
Here we
it
are.
in my
Here we are.
head.
Two men in a car in dark talking about dicks.
Yeah, it was on the big screen too. So Ben Affleck has a 30-foot dick. It's insane.
Well, he's got to have that to fit in Jennifer Lopez's ass.
Oh yeah! I remember the days of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. I love how we only have 20 minutes to really talk about this movie, and we've already said all we can about it. So we're talking about Ben Affleck's cock and commenters.
It's the best things in life.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I could necessarily recommend see this as a full price, because you've just simply seen a lot of movies like this. You could see this as a made-for-TV movie if you really wanted to. It just has A+ acting in it, and it's a well-made movie too.
Yeah, it's a strong character drama.
The characters in it are fine. Other than, like I said, they really made his dad a little too much of a bastard throughout a lot of it.
A lot of ham-fisted tropes are in it.
It's long.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It is too long. It does overstay its welcome because it is predictable. You know where this movie is going. You know that the dad is sick before he even says it. You know that Downey is going to lose this case that he had at the beginning of the movie. You know he's going to come back to this town. You know he's going to get back with Vera Farmiga. Because you've just seen this kind of thing before in many, many, many movies. So, yeah, you can, before you even see this movie, you can kind of play it in your head if you want to. But, because the acting is so good, because they really do sell this. They do. I would say that, like, I don't know, if you see it as like a cheap matinee or a rental.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be worth it, because, I mean, seeing Robert Downey Jr. can just read the phone book, and I could at least recommend that as a rental.
And I mean, and then every time, like, Billy Bob Thornton's on screen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the man commands a presence.
Yeah.
And he's not in the movie enough.
Yeah.
I think a little bit more development from him, but he's in what he needs to be.
Yeah,
It seems
he's the
weird
prosecuting
that seems
attorney.
weird that they drew out all these other characters unnecessarily and then gave such a short time frame for.
I mean, editing wise, I can see why, because I mean, as is, that would have made it a 3-hour movie.
Right.
But I know what you mean. Say like you lose a lot of the romance stuff and maybe throw in some more Billy Bob. That would make more sense than incest subplot.
Yeah, the whole niece / daughter / what is it?
Fuck.
Plot could have been gone.
Yeah, that's not resolved very well either, because there really is no weight given to the fact that he made out with his niece, and it doesn't show the daughter again, the niece again,
Right.
Until, in fact, they don't even really go back to.
She's in 2 scenes.
She's in 2 scenes.
And
There's really no closure with those.
And then she
two.
goes back to D.C. to study law at Georgetown.
Yeah. And also, the stuff with Downey's estranged wife is just kind of left out of the movie. Like, that's not really resolved either. But, are we getting a flash? Shit, I dropped my glasses.
5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
5 minutes, Turkish.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
You said 5 minutes 10 minutes ago. 5 minutes, Turkish.
I forgot that when the battery says 25 minutes, it actually means probably like 15.
Nice.
I need to get a new battery for this goddamn thing. But how would you recommend it? How would you recommend the movie?
I mean, I think it's a movie you should see, if for nothing else, for the cast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that a full ticket price is necessary. I mean, there's nothing. It doesn't add anything new to cinema.
No.
It travels down a familiar path. It does it well, but it's still the same path that you've seen before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I didn't find it very dull. I mean, it went along even 2.5 hours. I mean, it was. The exposition it had was reasonable, like besides the couple subplots. But for the most part, the exposition kept the story going.
There was enough laughs in it.
Right. There wasn't really a whole lot of downtime. It kept going pretty good. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a well-made film. Everybody seemed like they wanted to be in it and do it. So.
They did. They really did. In a movie that really anyone really could have sleptwalked through, and probably would have, because it's just very familiar territory. But they didn't. They didn't sleepwalk through this. They really did act in this as if this is fresh material, and that this is going to win some Oscars, and it's not going to win any Oscars.
No. Unless Robert Duvall somehow dies between now and Oscar season. Please don't die. Not yet,
Then,
anyway.
yeah, like supporting actor nomination. But yeah, that's how I would look at this. It's, if you take your dad or your grandparents to it, that it's that kind of movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely that. It's a grandpa movie. Like, my grandma would probably like this. My mom might. Well, just because Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, but my dad would like. It's that kind of movie.
Right.
It is that kind of movie. We're recommending a video to like parents. I mean, I liked it better than the Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. See, this guy's having a bad day in this movie, not the kid in that movie who's like, this is the worst day ever. You're 12. Shut up.
Having your wife die and hit a guy all the same day. Yeah, fuck you. You little prick, I'll send you to juvie.
Next week is Fury, The Best of Me, and I think The Book of Life. I asked Sarah last week, I was like, can you go see The Best of Me next week? She's like, what's that about? And I just write back, Nick Sparks.
Oh,
She's like,
God.
fuck. I don't even have to say what it's about, just Nick Sparks.
Nick Sparks. Pretty much.
I'll be at Book of Life and probably Fury too. I've been going
There you
to a
go.
lot of these movies lately. oh
We're
shit.
done.
See ya.
Adios.